to talk to you all about a question near and dear to my heart. Can there exist a non-binary heterosexuality? Huh. Well, I'm running under, so I guess I'll elaborate. So, obviously, if non-binary people are neither man nor woman, dating anyone is a little bit gay. And to illustrate how gay kind of all non-binary people in relationships feel, I'll show you some non-binary public figures in relationships, either confirmed or rumored, with people of different genders. Gay, 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 gay. If you were trying to tell me that any of these had at all straight vibes, like, what's next? Are you going to tell me that this wasn't giving Big Bird? So, if the idea of a non-binary heterosexuality is absurd, why would we spend any time investigating this subject? And to answer that question, I'm going to tell you a little bit about me. This slide is blank because it's me. I'm here in front of. I'm the visual aid. So I'm non-binary, obviously. Wouldn't it be weird to do this if I wasn't? I do love telling people that I'm non-binary because I instantly get to go from being bad at being a woman to being awesome at being not a woman. I'm attracted to a lot of genders. I call myself bisexual because I'm attracted to different genders different ways. Like, I like women who are really cool and men who are there. But for the first few years of my transition, I wouldn't date men at all because I was scared that it would feel straight and therefore kind of invalidating and dysphoric. And so there was this whole part of my sexuality that I just left kind of unexplored. And it was only recently that I started feeling secure enough in my transmasculinity to go back to dating men. And I'll admit, last week I did let a guy take me to Barcade and explain all the video games to me. And that didn't not feel straight. But it's not like anything that I was doing with women was any less straight. In 2022, on Valentine's Day, I didn't get the girl I was seeing flowers because I thought she wouldn't be into that kind of thing, and then she was sad I didn't get her flowers, and that definitely felt straight of me. So, the point is, for years I cut off a whole part of myself, and I'm not the only person who makes those kinds of decisions. And so if we can illustrate the absurdity of a non-binary sexuality, then all of us who want to can just go back to kissing boys in a gay way. Because kissing boys can be fun when it's gay. There's an asterisk there. I'm told it can also be fun when it's straight, but I can neither confirm nor deny that. So, to explore what a non-binary heterosexuality would look like, we need to understand what heterosexuality is. I'll look at some definitions and the theories that those would correlate to of non-binary straightness. If we go by the etymology, hetero means like other, so being straight is being attracted to other genders, but more specifically, it's being attracted exclusively to other genders, because like Angelina Jolie is attracted to men. That doesn't make her straight. So, for a non-binary person to be straight, they would have to exclusively be attracted to genders different from them. This would be a good time to point out non-binary is not a gender. Non-binary is any gender that's not men or women. So, like, by this theory, an agender person could be attracted to a bigender person, and that could still be straight, but now I'm using terms that might confuse you, so I'm just going to tell you what I told my mom when she asked me what the difference between bisexuality and pansexuality is. But the problem with this theory is that, like, let's take a non-binary celebrity. Let's take Janelle Monáe. Even if Janelle Monáe was never attracted to another non-binary person in their life, going back to the earlier examples, that still wouldn't make this shit straight. So we need another theory, another definition, a more contemporary definition of heterosexuality. A definition of heterosexuality where it's specifically about being attracted to the opposite gender. So for this to work, we would need a way to figure out a non-binary person's opposite gender. So let's postulate an axis from woman to man. Let's take me as an example. Let's say I'm slightly mask of center. For me to be straight, I would need to be exclusively attracted to people who were slightly femme of center. This might be a good time to acknowledge that I've never had a mental health professional confidently tell me that I don't have autism. We're about to get even deeper into the weeds here. We're about to get to the part of this theory that has made close friends of mine realize they don't know me as well as they thought they did. Because I don't think one axis is enough, and here's why. One could argue that both the people on the left are roughly the same gender by the x-axis. They're roughly at true androgyny. And both the people on the right are opposite genders. We have a woman and a man. But I think we can all see here alone that these two genders feel much more similar than these two. Which is why I think it's not just a question of what gender someone is. I think it's also a question of how much gender someone has. In order to sort of clarify these axes, I'm going to place a few more public figures on this chart. Feel free to disagree with my placement of any of these people. It is highly subjective. So, for there to be an opposite by this system, you would need someone who is your reflection along the x and y axis. So let's say I am slightly mask of center and towards the no gender end. For me to be straight, I would need to exclusively be attracted to people who have a lot of gender and are slightly femme of center, which would mean that the only person here it would be straight of me to be attracted to is a loke. But here's the thing. Still doesn't feel straight. So we can throw out the biaxial theory. And again, we just got very into the weeds. I want to take a second to sort of remind us what we're doing this all for. This is important scholarship in service of having fun kissing boys. So we're going to go to my final theory, much less mathy. It is based on the vibey definition of heterosexuality, in which the sort of I know it when I see it approach, it is straight if it feels straight. So just sort of like to illustrate the concept, some examples of heterosexual vibes. So both of the things I mentioned earlier, the barcade thing, the flowers things, those would both fall under the vibey approach, but that doesn't give us a model that we can easily and universally apply. So I've distilled this method down to a more measurable concept that we can apply without any specialized knowledge or expertise. The vibes-based theory of non-binary heterosexuality is that it's straight if the non-binary person is exclusively attracted to people where if they are more masked than them, they are taller than them, and if they're more femme than them, they're shorter than them. And the only problem that I have with this theory is that I don't like how true it feels. Thankfully, I personally have been attracted to men who are shorter than me and women who are taller than me, or for two equally valid examples. So just to kind of recap everything that we've learned, non-binary people can't be straight. But if you see a non-binary person dating short femmes and tall masks, you're allowed to call them straight slurs. Everyone who wants to kiss boys should kiss boys. And Janelle Monáe is the only person who looks hot in a fedora.